Lesson in uncomfortability as a weary traveler, I recently found myself in an uncomfortable situation while on a flight from Athens to London. It was a late evening departure, and I was already exhausted from my trip. I had chosen the window seat, hoping it would provide me with some respite from the chaos around me, as I could rest my head against the wall and attempt to catch some shut-eye. However, upon arrival at my designated row, I discovered an individual occupying my seat. He wore large headphones and had his head turned away from me. Initially, I tried to communicate with him by informing him of the situation, but he failed to respond. I attempted to gain his attention once more by lightly tapping him on the shoulder. Yet again, he did not react, nor did he turn towards me, noted that he was not asleep. Instead, he maintained an upright position and had open eyes. At this point, I considered summoning a flight attendant to request that the individual vacate my seat, but unfortunately, there was no one nearby. Additionally, I was not in the mood for an extended confrontation. Therefore, I decided to take the middle seat and quietly seethe. A few minutes later, a young woman arrived at her aisle seat, accompanied by her friend who took their respective seats in the row behind us. Two friends began conversing with each other across the aisles. Then, the woman sitting in the aisle seat turned towards me and asked if I could swap my seat for hers so they could be seated together. I acquiesced to her request. It is essential to note that her friend who was supposed to move into my original seat is very large, bordering on morbidly large, not shaming plus-sized individuals. As someone of considerable size myself, I am not one to discriminate. While I would have agreed to swap regardless of the woman's weight, it did provide me with a sense of satisfaction. As I was about to move, I noticed that the individual occupying my original seat had turned around and realized what was transpiring. He gave me an unmistakable look, as if he were silently pleading for me not to move. I disregarded his silent entreaty and swapped seats. For the majority of the flight, I managed to doze off with my eyes closed, only opening them occasionally to observe the situation in front of me. To my great satisfaction, I discovered that the large woman had taken up nearly half of her seat as well as mine, and the guy who took my original seat was now squashed against the wall of the plane. I hope he spent the entire flight contemplating how if only he had taken his designated seat from the start, he would have been able to swap with the large woman, and I would have remained wedged against the plane's wall. Maybe next time, he will pause before occupying someone else's seat.